Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. There was no thumbnail. There was absolutely no title. Well, I don't know. There was a title. I did put a title on there. Anyway, we got it. We got to give our daily As the Candy Rots update. I don't know what we're going to call this, but it's going to have to become a thing because every day Candace just keeps on messing up. And like clockwork, she did it again. She did it again, y'all. Thank you so much for jumping into the best live chat on the internet. Good to see y'all. What's happening? Kimberly Gonzalez says, hey. Beth says, look, she was like number 2. What like are you? Uh-oh. Purposefulness says she was also like number 2. Might have to be a fight in the chat. Nope, we're not going to do that. Shalom from Portugal. We're international up in here. What's going on, Taylor? Good to see you. Hello to you. Flesh versus Spirit Ministries is in the building. It says, hello, what's up to the good people? Good to see y'all. I appreciate y'all. Look, I can't keep up with it. Y'all jumping up into the best live chat like y'all like being here. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Y'all, yesterday, Candace was real loose. She was giving Josh Hammer, the 1-2 punch, right? And we knew it. As sure as the sun rises, Josh Hammer has responded. And it does not look good whatsoever. Where did Josh Hammer respond? Where did he go? He went to the place that everybody goes, Twitter. Josh Hammer shouted out there on Twitter. All right. I have been extremely reluctant to post screenshots from a murdered friend. It feels icky. I don't like it. Ooh. Oh my gosh. This is just going, hey, if you're a candy, by the way, make room in the best live chat. Let's get the candies up here in the front of the church. Y'all come on up here to the front. This is going to probably hurt. So let's go ahead and get you close so you can feel comforted. This is going to probably hurt. But while I was offline this week for a holiday, somebody said that yesterday that it was grimy that she was calling out Josh Hammer while he was on holiday. And man, who was it? Somebody said that last night. A high-profile, deeply unwell lunatic used screenshots of an intimate group chat I was in with Charlie Kirk and some others to impugn my character in the worst way and allege I somehow had foreknowledge or worse of my own friend's horrific assassination. Okay, look, y'all say what you want to say. Josh is a writer. Shout out to Josh. Josh is not playing games with this writing. I'm here for it all. Now, that's the longest sentence in the history of sentences, though. But great day, man. It's like some Puritan writing over here. My gosh. But I love it nonetheless. Let's keep going. In those screenshots from about 3:30 to 4 p.m. EDT, the day before he was killed, Charlie was blowing off steam in a private group chat setting. Donors have every right to withhold donations, and organization CEO chairman have every right to then be upset when donors withhold those donations. I don't understand. We were talking about this last night. Like, how do you feel like, why are you acting like a donor doesn't have the right to make decisions, how they're going to change that just doesn't make sense. And then how are you treating it like, well, if I lose a donor, that I can't be upset about that, for whether it be a black donor, a Jewish donor, a big donor, a small donor. Like, why can't it be like, you know what, man, I hate that I lost that donor, man. Just, you can't do that. I told y'all, man, Candace reads into everything. That is just the nature of donors and donees on the not-for-profit space. As I've previously explained in Newsweek, the donation that Charlie Kirk was turning on his career-long friendships with the Jewish people and the Jewish state of Israel, as opposed to sarcastically blowing off steam in a private group chat setting, is an egregious lie and is belied by the facts. And in a moment, he's about to drop some hammers. Josh Hammer, he brought a whole bag of hammers. He's going to drop a whole bunch of them on one Candace Farmer. Let's keep it going. 2 hours after Charlie blew off steam in that chat, I joined a Zoom call with him and a few others. The New York Post covered this Zoom call shortly after Charlie's death. In short, Charlie sought out, and he's got the links in here, and I put the link to this tweet in the description to this video. So you're welcome to follow along or click on these links, because I'm not going to click on all of those. Okay. In short, Charlie sought out our advice on how to better communicate the Israel issues on campus so as to be most effective with the younger Gen Z audience. I want to stop right there. I had the wonderful opportunity just about an hour and a half ago to speak to the leader, the president of Blexit, which is the Black organization encouraging Democrats to leave from the Democrat Party, who goes to college campuses. And it is and we had a great conversation. And if you want to, we're going to consider having him come on the show to talk about it. But anyway, just to be able to communicate with this generation, it doesn't matter how astute you are in understanding your topic. It doesn't matter how fine-tuned you are as a debater. You do need to be able to, if you're not familiar with this area of dealing with Gen Zs on a particular topic, you would be a fool to not tap somebody who's better dialed in. That's just it. So you could be the Charlie Kirk of your society, but when you say, hey, I'm going to be going to a place that I'm not familiar with, or I'm not the strongest in, or I could use what's new things going on, even to be able to communicate with them and have somebody in access that, that goes to the school, that's involved in the school, professor, an administrator, that would make sense. And if you have access to somebody who lives in Israel, who can say, this is what's happening on 123 Israel Street. This is what's happening in the Jerusalem Square. This is what's happening at the local bakery, whatever, that can give you like a more inside, more robust understanding. Why would you not? Should have been the question that somebody asked Candace. Why would you not do it? Why would you go in there like, oh, I know everything? No, you don't. Charlie was passionate about fighting the mind virus of conspiratorial Jew hatred throughout, or rather something he made clear over and over and over again. The final ever message Charlie sent in this WhatsApp chat, which were delivered hours after the deeply out of context screenshots that the aforementioned lunatic Y'all, Josh Hammer is not playing games. Josh Hammer said, I might not say your name, but I'm going to insult you in 4K. Shout out to Josh Hammer. And others have been discussing this week, made clear that Charlie was deeply grateful for our help. After our call, he felt more confident and reassured that he could make the case for the Jewish people and for Israel on college campuses. Uh-oh. I need to add that dun 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 sound effect, because I can already see where this is going. I can already see where this is going. Hold on one second. This is what Josh Hammer is saying.
Got him. We got him.
These are literally Charlie's last messages in that WhatsApp chat. Emotions can run high at times, but Charlie Kirk remained a true friend of the Jewish people and the Jewish state to the very end. All right. So this is a Zoom link. It was sent at 6 p.m. ET. Charlie Kirk, thank you for the help today, guys. So this is at 7:50 p.m. And we can see this on WhatsApp. It's very good and clear. That's what my WhatsApp looks like. Okay. I can dig it. Thank you for your help today, guys. Good luck as the campus visits start. Don't hesitate to let me know, or any of us know, how we can help. What's your first stop tomorrow, by the way? And this person's name is blacked out. Honored to be an assistance. Charlie, Utah Valley U. Thumbs up. Say hi to your Antifa friends. Name scratched out. Prayer. Those are not prayer hands. It's supposed to be like a high five. But they've kind of morphed into prayer hands. So prayer hands, okay? And this was on Wednesday the 10th. And this last message from Charlie Kirk was at 11:41 p.m. Y'all, if you're Candy, you got to start asking Candace these questions, y'all. You're going to have to start asking these questions. I mean, what do you do? I'm going to read some of these comments. Somebody told me I need to read the comments as well. I hate that you had to post this. Some people are ghouls. Bandage heart emoji. New York Times Post article. So let me get this straight. Charlie spent an hour that night before the UVU debate talking to a rabbi from Israel about how to defend Israel from the leftist lies. And the next day, Israel deletes Charlie. Charlie? Yeah, okay, sure. People who believe that are blank. Son of Liberty 357. Bridget, this made me cry to see because I still can't believe he's gone. And it's a tragedy that in the aftermath of his death, it's been overshadowed by certain podcasters' grotesque hijacking of his assassination for fame, power, and money instead of his legacy. These people are not playing games with Candace's feelings. I know why Candace is going to take off 10 days because they hurting her feelings, man. This is getting down to the soul. You'd be stoked to have a fraction of the integrity and credibility that Candace has. Uh-oh, spoiler alert, you don't. It's going to be fun to see whatever justice God will dish out on you. All right, Paul says, look, he ain't feeling Josh Hammer. Paul wants the hammer dropped on him, I guess, because it looked like Josh got a whole bag of them. Let's keep it going. Okay. This evil of the world must be defeated. I saw your evolution from a quiet behind the scenes op-ed writer to an outspoken forward facing figure. Now you have anonymous accounts accusing you of deleting with no basis. Stay strong. Sadly, all their toxicity is going to get worse. All right. So shout out to Josh Hammer, man. Josh Hammer said, look, I'm about to bring that. So real quick, I do kind of want to see this one. Let's click on this real quick and see what it said. All right. So this is the grifters desecrating Charlie Kirk's memory could implode MAGA opinion. And this was written by whom? Oh, it was written by Josh. Ha ha ha. It looks like a long one. I am not going to read all this whole thing. Let me just get a feel for it real quick. It is really too much. Is it really too much to ask that a murdered young man be given the dignity of a proper burial before bad faith opportunists attempt to posthumously rewrite his legacy to better serve their own nefarious ends? Good gracious, man. Is it really too much to ask that a murdered young man's family and friends, to say nothing of the countless individuals whose lives this young man touched and inspired, be allowed to mourn in peace without having to fend off charlatans seeking to hijack his memory to advance their pet crusades? Apparently the answer is yes. Yes, it is. Wow. All right. Shout out to Josh. I like that opening, man. I see you, Josh Hammer. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Like, look, literally, Candace has a, what newspaper is this? This is the New York Times? Newsweek? There actually is a Candace Owens tab at the top. Here, let me just look real quick. Candace Owens, the late on writer and political commentator, Candace Owens, she previously served as communication director for the conservative group Turning Point. When was it? 7 minutes ago. Okay. Man, that's that's how you know you've hijacked the narrative. When you are becoming that entrenched in it. Real quick, this is also a New York Post right here. This is about the Zoom call, the infamous Zoom call. Charlie Kirk and a rabbi pal. Oh, come on. Hold on. I got the ad blocker is blocking, and they don't want me to block those ads. They're impeding on my vision over here. Shout out to everybody who just jumped into the most electrifying live chat on the planet. Thank you so much. What do we have here? Charlie Kirk and a Rabbi Pal. Wow, man, get out of the way. Talked hours before his death. He was in a combative mood. All right, and that's from the September 13th. So that's 3 days after he passed. Okay. Real quick, I'm just going to read a little bit of it and then get the feel for it and see what y'all are saying. So that looks good. It looks good. Might be too big. Charlie Kirk was in high spirits, in a combative mood, just before kicking off his American comeback tour at Utah Valley University, said a rabbi friend who spoke to him for an hour that night before his death. Rabbi Peshet Walicki, 55, an American-born cleric who lives in Israel, met with Kirk on a Zoom on Tuesday night. He was excited to get back out onto the campus tour, said Walicki, who said he often spoke to Kirk before public appearances to advise him on how to defend Israel effectively. All right, so this is him right here. I hate these ads. My goodness. We became good friends, Walicki, the post-calling 31-year-old activist, unbelievably courageous in the face of many Gen Z conservatives who are turning on Israel. That worried the heck out of him, said the rabbi. And that's kind of consistent with what we read from the letter to Bibi Netanyahu. So I don't see this as being disingenuous. He held fast and it wasn't easy. Often people who challenged Kirk at events bombarded him with questions about Israel, according to Walicki. Man, I am often people to Walicki. Charlie was always seeking true information, said the rabbi of his evangelical Christian friend. Hours before the firebrand was assassinated in Utah, the two met online to prepare for the smears against Israel he would inevitably face during his tour of college campuses. He was working out talking points, playing the role of the devil's advocate, pushing us on these issues, trying to sharpen his iron, said Walicki, who specializes in Jewish Christian relationships. He was in a combative mood, recalled the rabbi, which is good. He was preparing for debates and attacks. Okay. All right. So these articles, of course, are going to be down in the description. You're welcome to check them out and give me your 2 cents as well. But yeah, this is a shout out to Josh Hammer. Josh Hammer said, look, I'm about to tell you some things. Let me tell you some things. Come on over here. Let me tell you this. And let me just see if he said anything else. First, I need to subscribe to Josh. I did. Bada boom. All right, let's see if he said anything else. All right, so as much as Candace likes to say that she has receipts, these receipts are not saying what she said, what she wants them to have said. So this is going to be, I don't know why there were so many ads on that. What is that? That is the New York Post. And it's just like riddled with ads. It just seemed like craziness, man. Like, what in the world? Okay, I'm just looking through to see if Josh said anything along with that. That looks like it. So shout out to that. But I want to say thank y'all, man. This has been such a wild ride, such a wild ride. What are my people saying in the chat? I do want to say this. Thank you, Deja Green, for the $5 super. Appreciate you, sister. Thank you so very much for that. Thank you for supporting what we're doing over here. Looks like lots of good conversation back and forth. I always appreciate it. Yeah, these things, these ads are out of control. All right. Mike wants y'all to wake up. Well, y'all better wake up, man. Mike said, wake up, everybody. No more sleeping. Wake up. Candyland conspiracies. The conspiracies are real. Yeah, I think at this point, like, she's lost the plot. Like, it's gone beyond just you have a story to tell. Like, this is clearly you despise a people group. You do what you're going to do. That's on you, boo. anyone demanding that but Tyler, why doesn't she give her evidence? Like, I think that's kind of weird. That's a strange flex. And later on tonight, we're going to be doing our Thankful Thursday. I got some great videos lined up. Why is Candace not saying, here is the evidence that I have? Rather than, I'm saying I have evidence, prove me wrong. And if you say anything or anything happens to me, I'm going to unleash truth all over the place. Well, don't they need the truth now? Like the whole poison pill thing that she did, that should make every Candy be like, wait, what? If you got some information that is true and information that is needful for society, why is the only reason you're going to set it out is if something happens to you or you have a untimely demise? That's got to be weird. And the fact that y'all don't say anything about that is extra weird with a side of crazy. That's on y'all. They ain't got nothing to do with me. That's you. Yo, shout out to the Weasel. The Weasel done gifted somebody a membership. Shout out to you. Thank you for blessing them. Whoever got that membership, make sure you say thank you to the Weasel. Well, thank you so much, Catherine. You're correct. Candace is operating and demonstrating a form of racism. I don't like using the word racism, but for this conversation, it's right on the money. Yeah, Candace is a racist. That's it. Call it what it is. Don't pitch a fit. Thank you so much. Yeah, last night I rage quitted. I rage quit the live stream that she did. I was just like, it's just dumb. I'm not gonna watch any more of this. Afterwards, I went back and watched. I thought it was interesting. Apparently, Candace has been banned from Australia, which seems really interesting to me because what is she going to do in Australia? Go do lectures, right? Speaking, whatever. But she's not doing that now in the States. So you're not doing it in London. You're not doing it in Europe. You're not doing it in Africa or Latin America. Why are you not doing that now? Why are you sitting there waiting to get, apparently they banned her from Australia and it's gone up the chain to the Australian Supreme Court. Well, ma'am, why don't you go do that now? You can do it. Nobody's stopping you. I'm sure the Aussies would love to have you come, but why don't you go to New Zealand? Why don't you go to the Philippines? Why don't you go and do your speaking tour in the United States? Why not? That's all. I just think it's interesting that her big thing is that she's banned from Australia. I don't know why they banned her. I mean, shout out to the Aussies. Y'all do what you're going to do. It just seems weird. Like, come on. If you're a Candy, can you explain that to me? Why is she more concerned about going to Australia and speak about Australia when she's America first and she's not doing speaking tours in Tennessee? I think they probably would let her come into Georgia. I don't think you need a passport to go into Montana. So, and they're not banning you out of North Dakota. Like, go do your speaking tour here. Why not? But you want to worry about going to Australia. Okay. I mean, that's more than 9 time zones away. All right, what we got here? I see lots of good conversation going on. Lots of good back and forth going on in the best live chat on the internet. Thank you so much. All right, she's not looking for truth. She's trying to prove he's anti-Israel. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, by the way, make sure you drop in what number were you when you hit the like button. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, it's a combat. Uh-oh, 2 people are claiming 162. What's going on with that? I don't think she's banned from, is she banned from the UK? Well, all I want to say is this. If she's banned from the UK, if she's banned from Australia, I don't know. What I do know is she's not banned in the United States. So why don't you go do your speaking tour? Why don't you go do your Candace Owens prove me wrong speaking tour, tabling event all around the United States? I mean, that would be cool. I don't think anybody would stop you. I mean, at least you don't have to worry about the authorities stopping you and whatnot. So what's up with that? Why is she not doing that? Thank you so much. Catherine says, I love your show, my brother in Christ, and I recommend it to others. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I am glad that you found us. I'm trying to see through. There's a lot of good conversation going on. Wait, is he? Tyler Robinson is Jewish? Oh, he's cooked then. Oh man, if Tyler Robinson, I don't know if you were being funny, Aussie slots queen, but if Tyler Robinson was Jewish, he's cooked. His number one fan, defense rest. They're in trouble. Candace responded to Hammer? Well, what is she going to say? Let me see. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I made the wrong decision. I let y'all know what my Twitter handle was, and people were sending me all these links about this in Twitter. So, okay. Gosh, man. I feel like we're just watching high school all over again. Shout out in the chat if you think that this just kind of reminds you of high school at this point. Josh, shout out to Josh Hammer. I hope that he doesn't do anything else, say anything else to this woman. So she did reply. So here's her rebuttal. So of everything that Josh said in the WhatsApp, she says this: kind of weird that Josh Hammer didn't know where Charlie's first campus stop was. He's been telling everybody that the purpose of the call was to help him prep for the debate. Let's go look real quick. I'm assuming. So the biggest pushback that Candace has is that Josh Hammer said, "Where's your first stop?" Because right here it says this: "Honored to be assistants." I'm sorry, right here. I'm assuming this is him right here. This would be Josh. So it says this: "What's your first stop tomorrow, by the way?" So apparently, because Josh asked, "What's your first stop?" I guess the rest of this is bad business, bad practice. I don't know. So Candace doesn't even address the fact that you can clearly see that Charlie's in good spirits. So if they got off the call and they, as Candace liked to say, that the Zoom call was some kind of, digital intervention, internet-wise, interrogation struggle session, this doesn't say that. Once again, something that she's saying, these quote unquote receipts, don't say what she says they say. Maybe she should stop. I'm just saying, if you're Candy, you might want to tell her to stop. She needs a hug. She needs to quit, because this is just not, she's not built for this. This is just not her deal. It doesn't make any sense. So that's it. So instead of addressing anything else, the issue is Josh asking, "What's your first stop tomorrow, by the way?" Okay. I just pray that everybody all the Candies, that y'all have really good memories and you never ask somebody a question that maybe you already know, or a question that you just forgot. I pray that you never have kids that have you going to soccer practice, band club, theater rehearsal. You got to go to church and you did not feed your children. Oh, by the way, you got to take care of your husband or your wife. I pray that y'all never have to worry about that. I love this comment. I love this comment right here. Shout out to this intelligent comment right here. Shout out to him. What does the doctor say? Do you get money from Josh Hammer? Y'all, everybody put the doctor in the chat. Man, what an intelligent comment. Man, y'all just flood the chat with the doctor. The doctor's in the building. We got the doctor in the house. Y'all let the doctor know that we appreciate this well thought out, intelligent comment. Man, like, good gracious, man, how many years did you have to go to med school to be able to concoct such a well thought out comment? My word in the morning. Good gracious. I'm honored. I am honored. I take off my hat to the wisdom and the insight of one. Man, I got to type your name again. The doctor is in the house. Good gracious. Is there a doctor in the house? Yes, we got the doctor. And no, it's not Doctor Who. It's Doctor this doctor. Ah, shout out, man. I'm taken aback. I'm taken aback. I'm honored. I'm gonna have to, man. That was a blessing and an honor to have you stop through the doctor. I appreciate you, man. Grace and peace to you, man. May you find peace for sure. Shout out to this packet says this Candace Owens is a problem. Candace Owens is her own problem. That's the great thing about it. Her mouth just keeps running and she keeps getting herself in trouble. Shout out to Brian. Brian just be blessing this. Thank you. Not only is he a member, but he be blessing your boy with a $4 super. Candace going through second childhood. That's a mess. Boy, you a mess. I love you, Brian. Thank you so much. That was a good one. Well thought out, well placed. She going back through childhood. Doctor, give us the news. I got a bad case of dunking on Candace. Dr. Strange behavior. Y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. I love it. His first name could be Doctor. I mean, it could be. It could be. It could absolutely. No, but shout out for sure, man. I want to say thank y'all again for rocking with this video. What video? What you mean? Tell me what I'm missing. Shout out to all my good people in the chat for sure. Now, tonight, thinking the host has a crush on Candace. Really? That's serious, man. Well, y'all tell that host to get his life right. Me, I've been married for 23 years. Let me tell you something. I'm perfectly fine with Lady Dear World Christian. I'm perfectly fine with her. Candace ain't doing nothing for me. But I appreciate it though. So you ain't gonna answer the question asked? Why would I answer a stupid question, Josh Bill? What's the question? What's the intelligent question that needs to be asked? I'll answer an intelligent question, drop an intelligent question, and guess what you'll get? An intelligent answer. Well, I'm glad. Hey, Kim, I'm here to keep it lighthearted. I just think it's in a joy. I think it's adorable that in the world that we live in, with $3 and $4 a gallon gas, kids that got to go to school, all this stuff that we need to do here, people want me to lose sleep over what's going on in Israel, Gaza, 9 time zones away. But they ain't taking care of their own stuff around their own house. Their check engine light is still on. They ain't got their grass cut. They got bills that need to be paid. And they want me to worry about what's going on in Gaza. Y'all kick all the rocks between here and Pluto. I'm not doing that. No, and I'm not interested in it. So I'm going to make fun of it. So if you don't like it, guess what? You can see yourself out the door. Let's keep it going. Let's go. It's in the chat. Oh, no. A video? Oh, crackers. I don't know. I have no idea. Do this for me, Deja. Just email it to me because I can't see it in here. The chat is bonkers on my side. Because all these people filling up the best, most electrifying live chat on the planet. I just dropped my email in it. Just email me. But I appreciate it, though. Oh, now you can ask questions, but I'm going to be 1,000% correct. I'm going to be real honest with you. There's 1,000 people in this live chat. There's a high probability your question is not going to get answered. But watch this, though. How about this? If you're a serious question asker, and it's not something retarded like, are you getting paid by Israel? That's just stupid. And it's not true. There's no evidence that I can show you that would satisfy you. And there's no evidence that you can show me to prove me wrong. So if you have a real serious question that you want, I'm not going to be able to read it right now. I'm dropping my link in the chat. Go ahead and drop my email in the chat. Shoot me an email if you have a real serious question. So yes, you can ask serious questions. I don't have time for questions that demonstrate a pure level. First of all, you're bearing false witness. You come in here with lies. I can't prove a lie for you. So if you have something serious, drop me an email. Yo, thank you so much. Thank you so much. What do we have here? Sir K up in the building says this. On the actual post, the candies are saying it doesn't prove anything. Some say it's out of context, but they never contextualize screenshots that she shared. Thank you for the $5 super. I'm not expecting candies to be anything but inconsistent. So I don't expect them to be consistent. I don't expect them to rightly divide and rightly discern left from right, up and down. I don't. So if they should be wondering and asking why Candace doesn't show them the full screenshot. I mean, that's just what it is. But at this point, Josh Hammer has shown enough. There's no reason to believe that after all of this, it seemed like a good fun back and forth. Josh called a hit with the Ninja Turtles, asked the Ninja Turtles to put Charlie's head to bed. No, just stop. You sound crazy. MT with the $2 says this. Ugh, my dog stepped on a Polish bee, so I'm late. Man, take care of that dog, man. Watch out for those underground bee farms for sure. Thank you so much over here, Hillbilly Belinda. Charlie came to me in a dream last night. Oh man. I gotta get the sound effects. You already get me some. You already know.
That's suspicious.
Here we go. He says something about bees and said Candace betrayed him. So see candles, we are all can dream.
That's suspicious.
I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know. But you know what?
I don't know, but I know. Okay? I don't know, but I know. It makes sense.
It made sense to her. It makes sense to me. Shout out. Thank you so much for the $5 super for sure, Belinda. And what is Bronx Girl coming up in here with the 5? She says this. May God bless you and your family. I love seeing your channel grow. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love seeing 1,1300 people, 1,013 people up in here. That's crazy work. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in. I appreciate it. Let's go real quick. Any good question? Let me open up my email because I told them to email me. So if they want to email me a real question, I will answer it. And my email is lacking. Oh, I'll take it back. There she is. Thank you, Deja Green, please forgive me. Oh, this one. That's funny because this one popped up. Okay. All right, let's see. Right. This is on the Twitter, the X, formerly known as Twitter. And let's bring this in. This gentleman's name is Ami Kozak. Shout out to Ami Kozak.
And I
don't know if y'all have seen this. I saw it pop up, but I had not heard what he was saying. So we're going to all find out together. Shout out. Here it comes. Fire in the hole. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
All right, you guys, more receipts, more screenshots of actual text messages, this time from a supposed Jewish donor that was sent to another Jewish donor. And I have receipts. You wanted receipts? Well, I brought them. And we're going to expose the lies. So this was sent to me from a reliable source, and I will not say who they are because I respect their privacy, but it was from a Jewish donor, and read here what it says. It starts, "Hey, what are you up to? What are you up to? What are you up to? What are you up to, AIPAC? What are you up to, Bill Ackman? I don't know. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's someone else. What are you up to? I mean, what are you up to? I mean, who talks like that? What are you up to? Who talks like that? Who texts like that? No human being, okay? No actual human being, real life person texts like that. What are you up to? Unless you're actually up to something. And we all know what that something is. What are you up to? Why would you ask that question if you're not up to something? The text goes on to say, NMU. NM. Okay, I grew up in the 90s, okay? I know NM, but today nobody says NM unless you're talking about Netanyahu Mossad. N for Netanyahu, okay? Mossad, U. This is obviously an abbreviation, a buzzword. a hint. And I don't know. Can we say it that it's Netanyahu Mossad? You, as in Netanyahu and Mossad, are coming for you? Is that a threat? Is that a threat? If you dig deeper, the thread goes on to say, be back soon. Talk to you later. BB soon.
BB soon.
I mean, it's so obvious. It's so obvious, you guys. It's so obvious.
BB.
They think we're stupid. They think we're stupid, okay? BB soon. BB soon. We're supposed to believe that's be back soon. It's obviously BB soon. BB is coming for all of us soon. But we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. And if it does, I will release everything. Every one of the threads like this that I have in my possession, and I will demand people send them to me. I will release them, or I will have somebody I trust, and I'll have all of you guys release these. And I'll just end by saying, you're not going to scare us, okay? I had a voice in my head today, okay? I was just taking a walk, and suddenly I heard voices in my head. Real voices, okay? They were real voices, and they were telling me the truth, and they were real voices. And when I hear something, I listen. I listen to it, okay? We're not going to be intimidated. We're not going to be scared. We're not going to hold back. We're going to speak the truth. I'm going to reveal what the voices in my head are telling me, and I'm going to reveal more receipts and more screenshots just like this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned.
Okay, I don't know who this guy is. I need him to do an entire show. Can we start a change.org? I need him to do an entire show impersonating Candace. I need this. We deserve this. We as the people, we deserve this. We deserve this. We must stand and protest. Where is he? I need him. He's a Jewish comedian. He is now my favorite comedian. I love this guy. That was the best. Oh my gosh. Only thing he could have done better was ask people to buy the merch at the end. Oh my gosh.
All right, you guys.
I just want to see if he's done another one, because that right there might have just made my entire day. Okay, that was hilarious. He doesn't have any more. I don't see any more like that. We need him. We need to let him know that we here at the Jay Witt Podcast require, dare I say, demand that he does more of these, or we're going to, release his third grade spelling test or something. I don't know. He was, yes, Ami Kozak. That was the best. That was 100%. I see him doing a Tucker one, but it's really short. Why is he like this? Yo, okay, yeah, I didn't know I needed this comedy in my life, but lo and behold, here we are. We are right here in the midst of me finding out that I needed Ami Kozak, comedian and musician, in my life. That was so funny. I almost want to watch it again. He needs to do an entire set. I know it's going to be crazy, but he needs to do an entire set. At least 10 minutes. Maybe we'll be gracious to say 10 minutes of this right there. That would be the best. I would absolutely love it. We don't have 7,000 people in this chat, Lisa. No, look, I want 7,000. Do you know 6,000 more people that you can send that to? Please. Please. 7,000, you do it for free. I don't want you to do anything for free. Do something that you love. Don't do anything for free. Do something that you love. Shout out to you. But, that was hilarious. That was great. I know I'm still looking for, I need 6,000 more people. So if you could help me out with that, Lisa, send it out to some folk. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Yes. Deja Green, thank you so much for that. That was what I needed. Thank you so much. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. That was well-placed comedy. I did not know I needed it, but lo and behold, here we are. And that was spot on the money. I loved it. Thank you so much. And shout out to Josh Hammer, dropping the hammer on him, letting them know what's going on. All right, what we got here? All right. Yeah, sharing is caring. Ashley, tell her. Let her know. Oh my gosh. Hillbilly Belinda says this. Steven Crowder did an interview with some guys at a black barbershop today. I'd love to hear your opinion on it because it was interesting. How long was it? And can we do it now? I might do it. Let me just see real quick. Let me look. And if not, I can do it tonight for Thankful Thursday. How about that? But let me see on the good old Steven Crowder. I like Steven Crowder. I admit I didn't know much about him. I hadn't really listened to a lot of his stuff, but I listened to him and I was like, hey, I like Steven Crowder. Thank you for the $5 super, Belinda. Let's see what Steven Crowder said today. If it's not super long, man, it's 50 minutes. It's an hour long. I can already see it looks like it's going to be interesting. Can I? Yes, I do want to. I want to check this out, but let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna do it blind. Dang, come on. I just don't want to give it. I got to pick up Chief Executive Second Born at 5:30. I got 2.5 hours. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, fair use, Steven Crowder, fair use. All right, let's bring it in. Let's get ready. Let's get hyped. All right, Steven Crowder goes to a black barbershop. This is exactly what we were talking about today. I was talking with the Blexic representative today, and we were talking about how you can find like a common ground. This would be a great place to have common ground. This is it, the barbershop. Getting it cut, getting it trimmed up, making it right. I need to go to the barbershop. Let's tell the truth. All right, let's go.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask that.
White people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a
Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
black person than the other way around. I'm just going to shoot you straight. It's not even close.
Where?
Across the country.
Ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody tripping on you. But these people in just as scared as the other folks.
They are if they get on a bus.
Not necessarily.
They are if they get on a train.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy.
Nope.
Whenever we want to ask for equality and fairness, it's a problem. So white America.
So it's been several $1 trillion. When is it enough?
Where's the bird?
No.
Where's the bird? You're not stopping white America from doing anything.
You know what? The
they
bird
wanna
just
do.
burned down $4 billion worth of cities and
bird ain't
60,000 assaults.
No.
There's 3 times to 4 times as much homework than the black kid, and the white kid does 2 to 3. Why?
Because it's culturally, it's conditioned.
Exactly.
So why is it better parenting from Asians than white
And then we
parents?
come
Why?
back-
You said what?
Well, we're having real talk. Why do young black men fight in packs?
So a couple of years ago, when I started Black and White on the gray issues, I sensed some growing discontent, or more of a racial divide in America than I'd experienced in my lifetime, and it seemed to be egged on by legacy media.
It's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
The American people have felt safe in their home.
People who had absolutely no chance of victory.
Hate and racism towards black and brown people.
And as that evolved, and for the first time I walked into Stevie J's barbershop, I really was looking to sit down and talk with, but mainly listen to real black Americans living the real American black experience to see whether they shared the viewpoints of a lot of the public representatives, the now networkless Joy Reids of the world, or back then the Don Lemons, what they wanted me to believe.
I realized that CNN and MSNBC were full of shit.
And overall, it was a largely warm, productive conversation. I think served its purpose. You can go check out that video to see what it was like. Fast forward to now, and not only have things not really improved, and according to many Americans, they're markedly worse. And if listening is important, I noticed that a lot of white Americans felt pushed to a point that they weren't even fully comfortable expressing. But for the most part, when they did, their communication was pretty restrained. Then it was dialed up to near boiling point with the recent cold-blooded murder of Irina Zarutska.
The unthinkable happens. You see Brown pull out what officials say was a pocket knife. He unfolds it, then stands up behind Zarutska. What we aren't showing you is the moment where Brown then stabs Zarutska several times and walks away.
And that murder taking place at the hands of a black man who was arrested at least 14 times and released largely in the name of racial justice, spurred a reaction from white Americans that, frankly, is unsurprising. And truth be told, for young white Americans, is understandable. And it would be doing America no favors to completely ignore the discontent of young white Americans, who, if you listen to them, definitely will make the case that they have been vilified and asked to foot the bill for original sin or crimes that they've never committed.
They owe each of us $300K. So I don't care how they get the money. That's not my problem. I just want my money. A debt is owed. You owe a debt. You have to pay.
And if you marginalize that entire segment, that voice of the country, that will lead to quote-unquote radicalization. And if this country wants to avoid that, or at the very least, as we've done in the past, understand that there needs to be a major course correction in the approach to communication. That needs to go both ways. And that's why this time, I didn't visit the barbershop merely to listen, but to communicate a very real set of grievances that could bubble into massive consequences. This one goes a little bit of a different direction compared to last time. This is black and white on the gray issue.
Shout out to Steven Crowder. Okay. I like what I'm seeing so far. This is something I want to propose, and I've thrown this out. You see white people going into black spaces that have dialogues. You never see the contrary. I want to see a black person go into a white space to have dialogue, to listen, and so on and so forth. I don't see that. But I do want to bring in something before we watch this, because there's something I think we're missing or whatnot. And this is from Booker T. Washington. Great thinker, fantastic leader here in the United States. He says this. What does he say, Jason? There's another class of colored people who make business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. Let's bring back in Steven Crowder. Let's go.
And that's Stevie right there, the blue shirt.
Blue shirt? Oh,
Yes,
Steven.
sir.
I met Cedric. I think I scared him. I think he was...
Hey,
doing all right? Yeah, man. How you doing? Good to see you. I need it. You guys all have your beards nice and right. I've never learned how to do this shit.
Why don't you get in the chair? That would be dope. Get in the chair and get your beard done.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a power move. You have me sitting lower.
Yeah, so we can all look down on you.
There we go.
Thanks. Well, they said you guys got some people coming in here after the last one?
Yeah, a couple people came
They just
through.
felt like, I think this is a place where white and black people have conversations.
So it was funny. The first person that came last time was he said this out of his own mouth. He was like, I'm Indian, but he had on a MAGA hat. Okay. And he walked in and was like, hey, I saw you guys on Crowder. Can I get a cut here? Yeah, I guess so, man. Come on.
I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit.
You're like, I don't know. If you
Nah, because he didn't come like that. He didn't have the backpack and the ski mask on. Yeah, he didn't have that on.
Was he nice? Was he good? Cool. Yeah. What do you guys think, like, when you see someone with a MAGA hat? Because I know we were kind of talking about that last time.
It depends on how they present themselves. To me.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, okay. So, like, what would present themselves in a way that would be like decent versus piece of shit?
Yeah. Some people carry that air of superiority.
Yeah.
And if you present that to me, I'm very conscious of that. If you present that to me, I'm gonna respond appropriately.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
What would be like an air of superiority? Like,
Just like certain things you say in conversation, and and like you said, just in the physical nature of these chairs. Well, in conversation, you can physically go up and down and put yourself above or beneath. So when people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually, when I do the change my mind and sit with people, I actually kind of slump my shoulders and deliberately kind of make myself smaller, just to not, it's like, what is it, the crab that has the red under its claws is showing danger? So I don't wear red, because apparently that signifies poison. But yeah, no, there's all these body language experts now. You watch on TV, and I'm like, this seems like horse shit. Like, he looks to the left, so you can tell he's lying.
Yeah, some of it is.
It's like, I saw him on camera. He killed his girlfriend with a butter dish. I don't give a shit what he says.
He took too long to say that answer. He had to think about it. No, he's thinking about what he wants to say.
Yeah.
He don't just spit out. He wants to think about what he's saying.
Last time we talked, we were kind of just, and the reason was just like, often you see in news, people just kind of siphon themselves off right into an echo chamber. And I thought it was good. We were just kind of able to see other perspectives. Where do you think the country is now, like with that?
I really like, and again, y'all let me know in the chat if y'all want. I will have the representative from Blexic come. And we literally talked about that this morning, how he would have a conversation with kids on campus and just talk about things that they really are interested in so that they can see like, hey, everybody wants the same thing. It doesn't matter what political stripe you are or what gang you affiliate with. Everybody wants that. And I think this is I like the way this is starting out. Let's go.
Like,
is that an open question? Or?
Yeah, race relations between, because last time I wanted to get your perspective, and there's a perspective now in the white community. None of us are an ambassador for the entire community, but things have changed quite a bit the last year and a half. Temperatures have gone up. But what do you guys think? What do you think we are in the community?
I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you asked that question. There are a lot of social and economic dynamics at play that have certainly gone, in my opinion, in the wrong direction. I don't think that people really understand the gravity of where we're headed. We are vastly sliding into an autocratic regime here. And absolutely, I'll give you several reasons. You see, in order to have, you can't have a one-dimensional approach when you're wanting to continue to lead from a global perspective, all right? What you see here today is an isolationism approach, which has never worked in the past because we don't have an understanding of geography and history, all right? And I'll just simply close by saying, you got to understand something. The rest of the world is grossly infuriated with the way America has taken shape. And not only that, we're ceding all our best opportunities to China, right? Look around you in the relationships they're fostering with everybody else, which includes Canada, Mexico, and they've even gone as far down into the Latin American corridor, fortifying their bases while we're still hollering that we're the greatest.
You talking about China, like in the Panama Canal?
Not just the Panama Canal. Let's pivot from the Panama Canal and let's look at the long-term strategy they have now, where they just signed an agreement with Mexico to build another canal bypassing the Panama Canal. And when you look at the whole transatlantic corridor, where you got now Brazil and Canada as well as Mexico trading, and they're stopping in Peru, where China has a huge presence at, circumventing completely the navigation and the use that comes with having to use the Panama Canal. So we'll avoid conflict with America and just simply go around America is what's happening here.
Talking about China?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to agree with the first part, autocratic. I think China needs to be dealt with, and this is the first time we are. I was raised in Canada. Canada sucks. Canada is a dog shit country. Canada, the kind of shit we're doing, you can't do this in Canada. If you say something too offensive or I say something too offensive, you will be jailed in Canada. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. So I'm fine with the U.S. being the best country. I came here from Canada because, I have friends who were arrested. I had a friend, stand-up comic, was fined for telling a joke. I don't think people realize how good we have it here in this country compared to other countries.
But that's the painstaking part about it all, is the fact that, I've always been one to say, and I believe this firmly, freedom is not a right. It's a privilege until you wake up the next morning and find out you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. It also comes with duties.
That's what I was about to say. It also comes with responsibilities, because while we free to speak and say what we want, and I went to Montreal a few months ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bet you saw a lot of tits on signs. That's all it is.
No, I didn't.
It's just strip clubs. Our Times Square is a giant strip club.
It was a couple of them.
Yeah.
But no, like there is responsibility, and like everybody's from different places, different backgrounds. Some of us from certain backgrounds know, like, running your mouth too much in a certain space can get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Like, you're free to say what you want, you're just not free from the consequences. Like, the consequences that come with you saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's where we all have responsibilities in what we say and when we say it.
Yeah. The problem, though, and I was kind of talking more domestically, the problem with that idea is a lot of people are offended by different things. Mm-hmm. And so people get their ass whooped for something they didn't say, right? That's the real thing. I don't know if you guys were following the stabbing there in that train in Charlotte, Irina Zarutska. Last time I was asking where you guys thought we were, as far as in the country relation. Like, have you guys heard of the term black fatigue? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys know what that means?
Since the last time you came, that's become a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's just become a recent thing.
And do you know what it means?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask that.
It's a term that's being used by people in the white community, by and large, again, saying they feel like they've been victimized and they're tired of taking that shit. You know, that was a girl who was dying alone in public, and that was a guy who was let out 14 times. 14 times, including violent crimes, in the name of racial justice, right? He didn't have to post bail. He didn't have to appear back in court. This is not the first time he's assaulted someone.
How do we know that was in the interest of racial justice as opposed to just being
because the judge said it.
A attempt at justice, period.
Yeah.
Like, the legal system has its flaws.
Yeah.
And people have been making complaints about that for decades, right? But that's just, to me, that's a mental health thing more than it's a black and white thing.
Well, I'll tell you.
Well, he didn't say. I think this young blood right here is not being honest, because I promise you, if he were in this situation, if that man had stabbed his daughter, he would not be having any of these conversations. He would have jumped right in and supported Crowder wholeheartedly, full stop. So I don't know if I don't think that's a good one. I don't think that's a good one. Now, I do think that man has some mental health issues, but we've already passed that bridge. We are now talking only crimes, only criminal situations. But let us continue.
Why? Because white people are saying it now.
Right.
Not just white people are saying, hey, we're in
makes it a bigger thing.
Well, because, white people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person the other way around. I'm just going to shoot you straight. It's not even close.
Where?
Across the country.
Where? Not in
the United States. I mean, we're not talking about Ghana.
And what I'm saying is, in white communities or in quote unquote so-called white communities,
across the country, the rate is a black man or person, because most murders men. There are very few female murders. 12 times more likely to kill a white person the other way around. And then you look at the average amount of times that someone in this country is arrested before they're brought in for killing, charged with murder. Do you know how many times they're arrested on average before they murder? 11 times.
Once again, the justice system's got its flaws, and people have been complaining about that for years. We spend more time trying to fix that than trying to complain about the white versus black of it all.
Well, I think, just like I was trying to listen to all communities last time, I think this is something that's unavoidable. If this community, if enough white people get pissed off, they're going, look, we're living in New York now, we're getting killed in record numbers, or Detroit, 12 times the rate. And our system, 3 strikes in California, right? That was a 3-strike policy. The reason that was changed, they said it was racist. Crime went down in black communities 30%. But now people are looking at their cities going, this is a fucking hellscape. And the murder skyrocketed because people said in the name of racial justice, like 3 felonies, you're out.
Because crime is crime, right? But crime is usually going to be higher concentrated in areas where there's high poverty. So
no, don't you dare say poor people rob more. That's not true. No, there are poor communities that crime is not high. There are rich communities where crime is not high. It is a value proposition. Don't just blame it on poor people. That's full stop. Because we always do that. We always lie and say, because then what he's going to say is that black people are more likely to be poor. Therefore, that's why they have to commit crime. That's what he's trying to do. No, that's trash.
Typically, the areas that's high poverty in this country are areas with people with this color skin. So that's why you're going to have that. That's why I said those numbers can be skewed and made to manipulate to look like, oh, yeah, that's why I said in suburban neighborhoods, white people are not in danger. And that's what this kind of fear-mongering tells them, is that you're in danger because you're 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person. You live in ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like
nobody. I live in a very mixed neighborhood. Whitaker Park is in a very mixed neighborhood. None of us are doing that. Nobody's doing that. You know why? Because we value our neighbors. We respect one another. Nobody. When I go outside, nobody's like, "Oh man, duck under the bushes, hide your kids, hide your wife, lock your doors." Jason's outside. Nobody's doing that. Because we value one another. There's a value issue that this gentleman is. I'm sorry. No, and I don't think Steven Crowder makes a profession of faith or anything of that nature, but there is a spiritual problem that these people, the issue is that we are sinners. That's what the problem is. End of day. We kill people, rob people, do all these other various and sundry wickedness to one another because we sin. And we can't deal with our sin through legislation and anything of that nature. You can't do it. We're going to keep finding ways to sin. Because we just seem to be doing good at that. Let's get this done, Jason. Let's go.
Nobody's tripping on you, but these people are just as scared as the other folks.
They are if they get on a bus.
He does? Okay.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy. Nope. That man was mentally insane.
But why was he back in
family members? He had his own family members call the hospital to try to get him committed. He told his sister he killed that woman because he thought she was trying to read his mind.
Yep. Why was he let out, though? And I'm not saying it's because he's black. I'm saying people look at it, though. The judge said he's insane, right? We agree.
That's not a black and white issue.
He was deemed not fit to stand trial, right?
Right.
Now,
should
the
have been
IOU
institutionalized.
Right. The IOU policy, meaning you don't have to pay bail.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to stay here until you're actually convicted. You just say you'll come back.
Right,
That was the
which is
14th time.
messed up.
Yeah,
Which
the
is
judge,
messed up.
Teresa Stokes, black woman, said, well, this is about racial justice. We need to be softer on crime. So that's her reasoning. That's why he was out. And you can find dozens of examples.
That's her misguided reasoning.
And that's policy.
But
that's not,
that's systemic, though, right?
That's not representative of a whole.
It's not. It's
Right.
not. No, and look, we always have to say not all.
Right.
Like, not all white people wear MAGA hats and are dumbass pieces of racist shit. But we have all been accused of racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia. What I'm saying is black fatigue is white people going, you know what? I know I'm not racist. And I know that we're dealing with record crime, and I know that I'm more at risk. And they have negative interactions, and they're constantly told that they're not allowed to voice their fucking opinion because they're white. And if those people get pissed off, like that's where we actually could end up with some kind of, I'm telling you, I see this brewing. I see people who were milquetoast white suburban who are becoming actually racist. Now, not all of them, but I've seen people actually become racist because they get mugged, their store gets looted, and nothing gets done. They're going, and if I say something, it's turned into a race thing. I'm telling you what, that's where it's coming from. At what point do we have a talk and go like, okay, let's reform justice, but we have to be honest as to why it was reformed in the first place. This guy.
No, it wasn't reformed. That's a great point. It was deformed. When you provide justice for one person that's different from another, that is deforming justice. That's not reforming it. That's deforming it. When Lady Justice has the mask on, and I mean the band across her eyes, and the scales of justice are supposed to be equal. She's not supposed to give one treatment to another person that she doesn't give to the other. That's deforming justice. So let's use the proper terms.
It's not even the only one. It's every 3 days someone's being offed.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's transfer that over to, I mean, there's a lot of unsafe things in this world. Like getting mugged by a black person is not the paramount unsafe thing. There's school shootings, there's road rage, there's all of that shit.
Yep.
And the primary people that commit a lot of those are people who don't have this skin.
No.
So if switch it over, if black people say, well, we getting fed up and we tired of all these school shootings and all of these road rage and all that, who do we say something to? Who hears our voice?
And when does the white fatigue?
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
Well, we've been hearing about white. That's the point, right? We've been hearing about it all our lives, about white fatigue, about systemic discrimination.
Nothing's ever been done. That's the problem.
Yeah, let him go.
That's why we've done systemic justice reform that has led to more crime, right? That's the reason for no three-strike policy. That's the reason for cashless bail. That's the reason for catch and release. The reason for it, in the wake of Black Lives Matter, George Floyd riots, Summer of Love, was we're going to reform crime,
Summer of Love,
justice
shout
system,
out.
and it's gotten worse everywhere it's been. And then when white people leave those neighborhoods, well, now it's white flight. If they come in, it's gentrification. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who are pissed off, and they're not going to sit down and have this conversation and be real about it. And they're going, well, what happens when someone has to keep their mouth shut about everything?
Nobody tell you have to keep
That's how they feel. That's how they feel.
I don't believe white people have to keep their mouth shut. I think white people don't speak up about a lot of the things that they do and they perpetuate that affects us negatively. That's the stuff that nobody wants to.
I like these conversations, but I want these conversations to be narrowed down to a specific. So this young blood right here in the red, I want a specific issue. And say, hey, here's a specific issue white people don't talk about. And this issue affects black people. And I want him to explain it. That's what I want. Because we just say issues, and just like the other guy, same thing. He just kind of threw out a whole bunch of things, road rage and mug-ins and all that kind of stuff. Pick one thing, pick your struggle, and make that case. And I want them to really get down in the weeds. We can get down. We're going to fix one thing today. We're going to fix this problem today. This is the one thing we're going to fix. That's it. Rather than everything. We can't struggle fix everything.
Made about those things. I really respect the platform that you have because you do have open and honest conversations. And I have to say, I don't believe that those numbers about the black people murdering white people are correct. I don't believe those numbers are correct.
What if they are? What if I'm not lying to you?
If you're not, then I've been misled and I've been isolated from realistic numbers. But I know in this country, from the time that we got here and until now, there's never been hordes of black people that just go out and maraud and menace white people. Interactions happen.
So stay right there. Let's not go into the past. Let's go right now. I think Crowder needs to have it printed out. I'm not trying to be elementary and insult these brothers, but look, I brought my facts. Here is the FBI's crime data. Here is the crime data they're somewhere in Indianapolis. I'm assuming, so here's the crime stats for Indianapolis, Indiana, and give them those numbers and let's wrestle it out right here today. That's what I think needs to happen. But I like this. I do like this. So let it be known, let it be said. I super duper like this. I think this is dope.
And things do occur. I'm not saying that they don't, but not by and large a number. We can't be this small a percentage of the overall population and still have the numbers that people try to perpetuate onto us. See, black people do more harm to other black people than we do to other white people.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So
because people were close. That's true.
We also have historical evidence of
Why is that okay though? I hate that stat. I hate the black-white stat, the white on black stat, the black on black and the white on white. Why is that okay? Why does he say that as if that isn't something that we need to deal with? And I've said this before. A lot of the problems in the black community are black problems. Black folk need to fix black problems. They need to have that discussion. We need to have a kumbaya. We don't need to have white people insert in. There's stuff that black folk need to talk about. And the fact that he just kind of poo-pooed and whisked it away about black people are more prone to injure, damage, or commit a crime against other black people, that should be a problem. Why are we okay with that? Why are we cool with that sentence? Stay focused, Jason.
Groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So when people say
it's not happening now.
So
I'm just saying, and that's the point. Is we're at a precipice right now.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Well, sure, but someone today.
Hold on. I wasn't finished making my point. You know, when like I said, black fatigue. That's the newest mantra that's been put out into society to make people think that okay, they tired of black people. They tired of what you said that we can't say anything about black people. We can't do well. When you hold all the power, when you hold all the economic rights, when you hold all the things that make this country move, when you're in charge of those things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? I put it like this: white people got the firecrackers, we got the stem. That's it. Y'all got the power. The power is placed outside of the black community. We're charged with all the negative things. Those are the things that are really generally coincide with how people relate to us. The bad stuff that's go wrong with this world is the black people's fault. We the smallest part of this country. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Beside the immigrants that come here, we have been tasked with the negative, the criminal, the immoral. That's us, and that's what we consider. That's white fatigue. But you know what we do? We just say that's just how it's always been. So we don't make up words for it or terms for it. So now you have a frustrated group of white constituents that feel like, oh, we can't say anything. We have to do this. We have to do that. So you don't be deemed as it. Well, if you wasn't that in the beginning to start with, there will be no need for the further reform or the feelings that you have. You can't say anything about because you done treated us like shit for so long, and people finally stood up and said, hey, you got to stop treating us like shit. Now that you won't feel like, you know, things aren't going in the manner that you want them, now we want the right to keep saying those things.
What if your premise is completely flawed? And what I mean by that is if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become radicalized and it can become a problem. Yeah. And then they see billions of dollars and riots and damages all summer long, and then they go, why is this happening? Black Lives Matter, right? So they're going to make that connection. Now, they have no institutional power, but if they go into a neighborhood that's largely black, they're going to get the shit kicked out of them. And they're being blamed for something that supposedly their racist forefather did that they have nothing to do with. You think we're ever going to have unity? This is the problem. Unity, if let's say your dad's a or your grandfather's a and you walk up and you slap his teenager, you now have made that person hate you for life. And that's what I'm seeing with not even my generation. Younger people are going, I had nothing to do with this shit. They came up during the riots. They've come up under DEI, and they're seeing a 12-time murder rate, skyrocketing crime, and any proposals they make not holding institutional power shut down as racist.
Now, why was DEI even instituted in the first place? Because for the majority of time that black people have been in this country and been free, we've been denied so much. Somebody somewhere had to put some things in place to provide access of some kind.
If you believe that, that's.
I would love. I disagree with DIE wholeheartedly on his face. I would love for this young blood to explain to me what was the situation pre-DIEs being instituted. What was it? What was the climate like? And what was it like after the fact? What was the goal? What was the expectation of instituting DIE into society? Because it is partiality. It is being racist. It is. And there's no meritorious, there's no. Again, you're picking somebody based upon their externals. That's just racism on its face. Give it up, turn it loose. But what was it? What was the goal? What was the goal that you were expecting to get out of that when we instituted DIE? What was it? I want to know. Let's go.
Fine, but you can't tell that young white kid who had nothing to do with it that he should just sit down and take it, especially when they're getting killed.
That's what America's been telling us for the longest.
The young white man that has to
Not in my
deal with the
lifetime.
DEI, the young person of this generation that you said that feels they're misled by the being mistreated by the DEI.
I'm just using as an example. They don't hold any institutional power. Young white people don't. They don't have an advantage.
Not yet, because they're young white people. They have an advance to where they're middle-aged white people, where the power comes. See, what black people, once again, when you got colleges that denied access to black people, you can't come here. Something had to be put in place. Well, look, y'all got to let some black people come in. Y'all can't just
that started happening long before DEI. Long before black people were admitted into colleges, HBCUs.
Hold on, let me say what I'm trying to say.
My bad.
I'm trying to make it clear.
He's trying to do a senior Wences and talk through you. So
I get it.
DEI is just a new way of wrapping affirmative action.
Yeah.
Affirmative action had to be put in place because there was the access being denied. So the legislation had to be put in place. Well, look, we can't just exclude all of them. So somewhere along the line, they have to be allowed some access. Okay, that was put in place. Now, fast forward till now.
Why do we want somebody to pick me to do a job only because of my externals and not because of any of the value that I bring to the equation? But they just look at me and say, oh, he's a highly melanated man, box check in, let's go ahead and bring him in. Not, hey, he has a skill set that's going to really push us to the next level. Let's get it going. Recently, Red Lobster was in bad shape. They were in mighty bad shape. They selected a very young man to be their CEO. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know what he brought, some Old Bay seasoning or something. He done whipped some kind of magic over there. And Red Lobster is cooking. It is literally cooking and figuratively cooking. They're doing great now. Does it matter that the young man was a black Morehouse man? That makes me proud as an alumni of Morehouse. Shout out to the house. But I'm even more glad because my mom loves Red Lobster. I don't know why. My mom loves Red Lobster. It's such a weird thing. She picks up my daughters to take them out to eat. And where'd y'all go? Red Lobster. Anyway, I'm just glad that Red Lobster didn't close. I'm glad that this dude has done a fantastic job of reinvigorating Red Lobster. Now, I'm also glad that he's a black man and he went to the House. But that wasn't, I hope, the reason why they selected him, because I think they probably selected him because he had the business acumen to do what needs to be done, and that's why he's there. But you know what else is true? Red Lobster is red. And we got to give a shout out to Granny Rose for a $200 super chat. What in the world? Shout out to Granny Rose. I know y'all want to finish this up, but we got to give Granny Rose an applause. She's a stream sponsor now. Shout out to Granny Rose real quick. She's a stream sponsor. Can y'all please flood Granny Rose in the chat, please, and let her know that we appreciate her. Thank you so much for blessing what we doing over here. Shout out. And look, shout out to all the grannies in the building. Good gracious. Let me give that. Let's go. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Very kind. Thank you so much. Let's bring this back in and let's keep it going.
Those same things that were put in place for those people back in those generations that are still in place, they're not excluding people from getting to places they're just still trying to keep those doors open so that those black people that were coming through that door can still get in. Because if you remove those, over time, we will be denied the access.
If a black person has lower SATs, right, and lower GPA, should he get in over an Asian or a white person?
Let me ask you. If all things are supposed to be laid out equal, no, you shouldn't get. If you don't have it,
that's what
it takes to get in. No, but
it is happening. But that's not the majority of what's happening. It
is happening.
No, that is happening in real time. And the funny thing is, again, this is a great point. We see a meritorious situation in the NBA, NFL situation. We see a meritorious situation in hockey. Okay, it's real. There's definitely more Canadians and such like that in hockey than there are Georgians, okay? This is a reality. But that's the situation. So, no. These gentlemen, I'm sorry. I think Crowder, again, I respect him. A hat tip for him doing this. I think I would love for him to have brought some stats and let people sit with this one stat and just wrestle with that one stat until we figure it out. Because I think some of these things jumping from crime to now this, I think is getting a little bit confusing. But I love the conversation. It's organic. It's what happens. No shame at all. Let's go.
DEI has been more beneficial. I'm a former commercial contractor, all right? DEI and affirmative action have benefited white people vastly more so than black people. All you gotta do is look at the business ownership or what have you, and you notice that as long as that white female happens to be 51%, then she qualifies as a minority and a double minority because she's white, she's among the minority in business ownership, and she happens to be a female, right? So you look at that based on population dynamics, and that automatically tells you this whole thing about DEI was, number one, not as much targeted towards blacks as much as it was targeted towards minorities, which includes that LGBT, right? So
that's the reason. That's what he's saying. We don't need to do it because it has been hijacked. White women do get more benefits from DIE policies. The alphabet mafia does get more benefits from DIE policies. That's what he's saying. I think sometimes people are just used to arguing and they don't realize that they're arguing against their own best interests.
When we talk about that, we need to really deal with the real problem. And as it relates to the riots, let me tell you something right now. Listen, in the black community, I'll be the first thing now. We do have intractable problems that are not going to be solved in one conversation. But what I'm going to say about that as well as the reason why the black community becomes so infuriated, all right, is when you see gross negligence of justice or misjustice happening and nobody does anything. When this guy kneeled on this man's neck, going back to George Floyd, look, if he had done something, when he was subdued and on the ground, what was the real reason for kneeling on his neck except to inflict fatal harm? What was it?
I can tell you exactly what it was, and I can tell you why you're not recognizing the problem. Because the opinion polls, and I'm not saying right or wrong, the opinion polls have changed on George Floyd since I last spoke with you. You know why?
Why?
All the body cam footage came out. You know what? You know why? Because he was there for 12, 15 minutes, asked to be put in the car. They put him in the car, asked for air conditioning, gave him air conditioning, asked to be taken out of the car. They took him out of the car. He wouldn't stop moving. People have watched it now and go, you know what? It's not what I thought it was. You know how many times he was arrested before that? 9. He shouldn't have been. You know what would have saved him? 3-strike policy. He robbed a woman at gunpoint with a child in the house. And so white people look at it, young white people, right? Who, you have to understand, during COVID, this is a whole generation of people. White people did not have any fucking opportunities during COVID. They didn't get to go to the graduation, college, black, white, all of them, right? It's a generation that's pissed. Rightfully so, they got screwed. I think we can agree on that. They're going, I watched my city burn down for a guy who was arrested 9 times and committed violent crimes against women. What?
Now, you know,
that's a travesty of justice. He should be out in public.
How many felonies does President Trump have on his record?
See,
he was still allowed to occupy.
This is it. This is the thing. See, I like Crowder, but my disposition is we got to stay on one topic. I don't have ADHD. I do have ADHD, but I can think in multiple speeds. So I got that part. But I want them to stay on a one topic. If they're going to talk about DIE, then talk about that until it's DIE is done. Okay? Talk about that. How all of a sudden did Trump enter the chat? That's insane. So I would not even answer that question. I wouldn't. I would say that's not what we're talking about right now. But again, this is organic. This is very, very beneficial. So I'm not mad at it at all. Let's go.
No criminal felonies.
Oops.
He has no criminal felonies, but he's got moral felonies, which would, if there was a court of justice for that, he probably would be tried a long time ago. I mean, let's talk about it.
Is this where we all get on board with crazy white bitches who accuse men of rape?
No,
like, I thought she accused 26 men of rape, that crazy broad.
Here's the reality, though. And when you look at the convergence of this new agenda, where you're going strictly in the blue cities, why is it that most of those blue cities also happen to be occupied, the areas they're going in are heavily occupied by minorities? Why is that so?
Well, black people tend to vote Democrat, and they're run by Democrats. Detroit, you can look at it. You can look at Chicago. Is that what you mean?
I mean, no, that's not what I'm asking you at all. What I'm asking you is,
what are you asking?
With this all-out assault right now, just last night they were talking about something in Chicago, right? But 1 o'clock in the morning, you had people in military gear, where have you helicopters and all this kind of stuff like this shit, not just knocking doors down, but dragging people out.
Because it's the murder capital of the country. You just said black people are more harmed by this. We don't want to take out murderers?
No. I think really what true is you're confusing what I'm trying to say to you.
Are you about the National Guard in Chicago?
No, what I'm trying to say to you is this, though. If we're going to talk about the problem, let's talk about the problem in its totality. The fact about it is, when you talk about white America being pissed, white America is going to always find a reason that doesn't fit their narrative or what have you. But what white America fails to talk about, and what never ceases to amaze me, is the fact that the biggest threat is not going to come from blacks. The biggest threat is coming from within. You look at the average person.
No, I'm done.
Has been committed
I don't like this guy. I'm sorry. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like him. Because he is just going to speed talk through. And I did speed it up slightly, but he's just talking fast. He's just throwing out as much as he can. He's just regurgitating as much as he can. You want white people to have a kumbaya about fixing black problems, but we don't have any kumbayas about fixing black problems. There's none of it. It never happens. It's always, we can't do something because white people haven't done their part. We can't do something because white people X, Y, Z, A, B, C, fill in the blank. No. And I'm a little bit perturbed because he's literally lying. He's blaming Steven Crowder. He's blaming the white lady back there in the back. He's blaming white people for the fact that black people don't sit around and hold each other accountable. We don't. It's a reality. And that has nothing to do with white people. It ain't got nothing to do with racism or the transatlantic slave trade or the fact that my left toenail is itching. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's our problem. And he won't address that.
Heinous crimes over the days, it's 22 to 29-year-old white males, right? Look at how
No,
they were.
it's just not true, man. Violent crime, you just said, like you said, a small percentage of the country, about 12 to 13%, 50% of the violent crime, but the murder, a 12 times likelihood.
That's a skewed stat.
If you just, so you don't listen to them?
No, I said that particular stat is skewed.
It's not skewed. These are from the FBI, DOJ. And you know what else we look at? We look at Roland Fryer from Harvard, who conducted, black professor, really respectable guy, honorable man, conducted a study, and he came out and he said, yeah, all of my research says that black men are 0% more likely to be shot by police officers than whites. Black people got so mad at him, he reconducted the study, a black man from Harvard, and he came to the same conclusion, and now he's not black enough.
Wait, so let me see if I understand you clearly.
Yeah.
You're saying, according to this guy's statistics, right, that black people are 0% less likely to be shot by a white police officer.
A liberal professor at Harvard, yes, and he conducted it twice. Because black people said what you're saying. He goes, look, I was as surprised as you. I was trying to find how much worse it is. My data showed me it's not. He reconducted the study an entire time. Now, he did come to the conclusion that an officer is 18 times more likely to be shot than a black man by an officer. This is a black liberal who studies statistics. At what point do you listen to him?
And
I don't believe it.
That's skewed too.
Institution, and if he comes out and say something of the sort, there's no telling the backlash that he may not get. Listen, there are token blacks in every society. I mean, all you have to do is look back throughout.
And there we go. Right?
So instead of saying, hey, it's very possible that this, I like the fact that Crowder asked the person, what if your assumption is wrong? And shout out to Steven Crowder. No, instead of coming up with a move the goalpost moment or what about woulda, shoulda, coulda, how about just deal with the fact? Black folk are not getting hunted down by the police. We're being hunted down by each other. End of day, that's it. Deal with that. And I really kind of wish Crowder, instead of talking nationally, I really wish he would change. This is it. In America, just stick with the area. He could bring the stats for the area that he's going to. Because he's been to this barbershop twice. So he knows the area, he knows the community, blah, 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 blah. So I think it would be really good if he sat down and really came up and brought those stats for this community right now. Not nationwide, not all around Indiana, not the Midwest, but right here within a 3-block radius, a mile radius of this barbershop. That would be powerful, in my opinion.
This guy, come on.
No, but here's my thing, Steve. Right? I'm not alleging that the guy wasn't Uncle Tom. So let's be frankly honest. How many shootings have happened in most recent history that have involved black men that have been unarmed? And you sit here and use that analogy that black men are analogy. Times. Listen, as a totally blind individual, listen, I'm even apprehensive. There was an incident where the police stopped us, and it was my cousin and I. My cousin is a retired military veteran, what have you, right? And immediately when we got out of the car, out of fear of possibly being shot, the first thing I did was raise my cane and say, officer, I said, listen, I am totally blind before we get out of hand with this, right? Now, I shouldn't have to react like that. But when you start looking at what's really happening in this country, many times these are...
So, hold on. I admit, I'm sorry. I admit, your boy likes body cam footage, okay? I like watching a little bit of body cam. I've been known to splurge a little bit on the body cam, right? I'm going to tell you right now, as sure as my name is Jason, I've watched more than my share of body cam footage. I have never seen a compliant person get out of the car, given their license, insurance, or registration. Yes, sir, doing what he or she is told to do, and them having a bad experience. Yet, I have only seen people who do not comply. And this is red and yellow, black and white. It's not just black, it's not just white. I've watched a ton of white chicks get yanked out of cars, hair pulled, slammed on the ground, the whole nine. So it's not just a black thing. So miss me with that foolishness. But back to my point, only people who've been non-compliant. So if the fact that this guy got out the car and said, officer, I'm blind. Okay, fine. You're just showing that you're being compliant. What's wrong with that? You're letting them know that you're a fair dealer. You're letting them know that you're obeying and following the instructions. I wonder if he tells us what was actually the outcome. Because a lot of the time, a police officer just says, hey, get out the car, we're going to check it. We smell something funny. They don't see anything. They don't find anything. You on your way. It's only when something's going south, but very rarely have I seen somebody who was super duper compliant. Super compliant. Now, maybe them Louisiana people, because they be running them drugs. I've seen them Louisiana body cam. They be super compliant and they still be going to jail because they got drugs in their car. But I digress. But you see my point. No, sir, this is not going. You're not going to beat them charges, sir. Let's go.
If you put on a uniform, you can't legislate the heart of a man and his intent, all right? And many times these officers do allow that badge to give them impunity to operate and exercise their racism. Let's be honest here, Steve.
Some of them do. By the way, I just find it funny that when I came up and shook your hand, you didn't tell me you were blind this whole time. I was like, I must have woke you up. You could have said, dude, I'm blind. I was like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. This whole thing. You just throw that out there like a cluster bomb. I'm like, so you should have waved his cane when you came in.
See, there you go.
That's like an asshole in the middle of the room.
That's what I told you when you said, does he sleep behind the glasses? I was like, no, he just can't see you.
I thought you were making a joke. Oh my God, here's this condescending asshole.
See, like that's what I'm saying. Like, how amazing is that? Crowder made a mistake. They're just having a good time yucking it up. That's exactly that's what we need. We need to be able to say, man, I messed up. And he admitted that he messed up. He didn't know it. Nobody called him racist because he didn't know. I was kind of wondering why he had glasses on too myself. But see, that's the point. That's why we have conversations. That's why we talk. That's why we engage with one another so that we can get rid of the stereotypes. Because again, I'm just sitting there thinking the dude is just doing uncle talking all fast. But now I know he's blind. Shout out to that.
I had no idea.
No, man, but you know,
I agree. You can't legislate what's in a man's heart. Yeah. But you can't throw out everything. You can't go, that got skewed. That black guy from Harvard who was always a liberal who did it twice is skewed. You can't throw it out.
How often do you see black police killing unarmed white people?
Actually,
how often do you see that? How often do you see that?
Well, I tell you, actually, the stats show that when you're dealing with armed white people versus black armed people, white armed people are more likely to be shot by the cops than black.
White armed people are more likely to kill police officers. Look at what happened in Kansas with those 5 police
Let's call the
officers.
stats a wash on that. Here's what I do know. Everyone wanted the body cam footage, and I agree. I was like, we should have body cam footage. We should have accountability for police officers. Right?
Absolutely.
And we were to believe after the era of, remember, we went through Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, obviously George Floyd. There were so many that you could use as examples. We thought that we'd have a rash of body cam footage showing us the police brutality. You haven't seen body cam footage of note in the last year. Once that footage came out, it's about a 20-to-1 ratio where you see someone getting violent with an officer. We have not seen what we thought we would see. And now people are going, okay, so maybe not the body cam footage, right? We thought we'd see all the abuse.
Wait a minute, before you jump off of that point, what about the body cam footage where we see white people and white police and the white citizen is being belligerent with the police, but the police showing extreme restraint in dealing with that person. Whereas black people, we reach for your wallet, bow, you get shot. I got a phone in my hand, bow, you get shot.
And
that's not true. Okay. Again, I'm not saying I'm a body cam expert, but one thing I know for a fact, you also have to be mindful of the county and the district that these body cams come from. I mean, Oklahoma is different than Florida. Okay. New York, I don't think I actually watch New York, but North Carolina is different than Texas. And my goodness, in the morning, Louisiana is different than everybody. So you can't just say, well, hey, it's the same because every municipality is very different. So no, that's not the case. And I ain't seen nobody sitting there. No, that's not the case, bro. That is not happening. More times than likely, we have a person who is not following instructions, doing what they're asked to do. I'm not opening up my window. Give me your badge number. Where's your supervisor? This, that, and other. Why'd you pull me over? Where's your supervisor? I'm not giving you my ID. Why'd you pull me over? I mean, this is crazy. So no, it's not that, sir. You ain't gonna beat those charges.
And wow, you get
the
shot.
stats don't reflect it. But white people are being killed in record numbers right now, and they're pissed. And if you keep just not listening to them, look, like you said, white people in the majority of this country, you have young white people who are getting more and more mad. I'm just telling you the truth.
What they mad at?
They're mad because this thing. Here's why. Here's why. They go, look, I'm 12 times more likely to be killed by a black person than you are a white person. And you go, well, that doesn't count. They go, look, my dad's business got burned down.
Yeah.
My city got burned down. I've been accused of being a racist, even though I'm not. And I'm looking at this right now, and I'm not allowed to have an opinion. And I can't go into certain neighborhoods because I get my ass kicked. And then you just say, yeah, but you've had systemic power. That is a surefire way to breed racism.
Let's be frank about that, Steve. Now, first of all, here's why I disagree with you emphatically, right? Number one, when it is historically proven when there are riots, and this is the crazy part, most times we as blacks, we tend to riot in our own neighborhood for the same reason why we're not 12 times likely to kill a white person, because of that fact that the penalty is going to be much harsher, okay? If black people were really the kind of threat administered to white people as we're going to sit here and say that they are. Never mind the stats. There's no way in the world that most of us would still be here, because guess what? You guys would find a way to deal with the problem if it is from a multiplicity of angles, all right? So, like I say, when I'm saying this right now, when it comes to stats,
deal with it.
who controls that narrative, Steve?
We did deal with it. You know, we dealt with it in liberal and blue cities.
Why are you okay with what you're saying? I'm sorry. Why is he okay with, okay, fine. You just swamped Steven Crowder spouting facts. Okay, fine. But why are you okay with the fact that black people riot in their own communities? Why are you okay with that? And why are y'all not rioting about the gangs in your said communities? Sir, come on.
Cashless bail, catch and release. We did everything that was demanded. Defunded the police in certain neighborhoods. Guess
But
what?
no blacks ever asked for defunding the police.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's his deal?
Now, I will say, it's mostly black women. It's mostly black activist women. And they're not representative of black men. I get that.
Just like the guy who killed the lady on the bus that you were talking about earlier, right? He doesn't represent black America and what he did. I mean, listen.
Here's where he does. Just listen to me here. Here's where he does. Here's where he does to a lot of people. This is what I'm just trying to, because last time I sat and listened, but I want you to hear something really important. Here's where he does. Young white, that person's parents, that person's relatives, look at it and go, wait a second. This guy was out 14 times, and the reason he was out 14 times was because a black female judge, in the name of restorative justice, who has received funding from NGOs, said, we're going to have cashless bail and catch and release and the IOU policy in the name of racial justice. So people are going, my daughter's dead, because it would have been racist to keep this guy in jail. You need to understand that, right? But you understand it, though, right? Because you just made those same judgments about people who existed 150 years ago.
Yeah.
This is someone's sister.
Her flawed judgment does not represent the opinion of black people, number one.
Okay, it represents a systemic correction.
Well, let's talk about systemic correction. And you know what the problem really is? When you defund opportunities to provide adequate psychiatric institutionalization for those kind of people, that wouldn't have happened. Because let me tell you something, even as a black person, as a judge, if you come before me 11 times with all of the information that you provided me with, you know what? Before I release you, you know what? I'm going to have you committed to an institution, because number one, the greater good is for me to preserve public integrity, and that's on both sides of the spectrum. I don't give a damn if you're black or white.
Why do you think they're not?
Keep in mind, though, we've closed many of our asylums. So it's not just I'm just going to have you committed to an institution. There ain't no institution, sir. And why did we do that? Again, he's not going to be able to, I know he's blind, but he's not going to be able to miss these charges. Sir, this is stuff that we need to deal with. We need to deal with these problems. That's just it. It's not, we cannot keep saying we have problems. Hey, white people, y'all fix them. We have issues. Can the less melanated community come over here and help us with? No, these are problems that we need to fix. We need to fix those. And again, I think Crowder would have done himself I think he would have been in his right position to say, hey, here are the crime stats of this community right here. The liquor store down the street, the bodega around the corner, they were both robbed within 24 minutes of each other. Last night, the body cam, the CCT shows that these were black people. What y'all gonna do about it? That should have been it. We don't need to fix global problems in the barbershop. Fix the problems right here for the people that sit in this community.
Committing him to an institution.
Because there's no funding available.
No, they were shut down in the name of restorative racial justice.
And his
That's
family,
why he wasn't institutionalized.
And his family
he should have
pushed
been in
against
prison
it too. His family pushed against it in certain like there's some of them cases where they were in court. His family was saying, "Don't put him in there."
I know, and who gives a shit?
But I'm just saying that's part of it. But when you only include the part that says the judge, you're not giving the whole story, and that's what media ends up doing.
But his family did it.
These tensions in people, they straw man conversations and only tell part of it.
The tension is there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The tension is already there. White people are afraid to go in black neighborhoods because
so should black people be afraid to go to school because a white person go come shoot the school up?
Right.
Because every time we see that, that's what keeps happening.
It's not even close.
But now you're going to ignore it.
I'm scared to go to church.
I'm scared to go to church, but you sit in a barbershop with almost 12 black men. Come on, Steve. Now let's be realistic.
Who do you think's more at risk sitting down right here?
Exactly. He know he's not in danger around us.
No, I'm much more at risk.
We don't do that.
And here's the irony.
You know I just watched my friend die, right?
Let me say this. Know what bothers me about white people, and this is kind of
everything.
No, not everything.
Well, we smell like wet dog or something.
Okay, I disagree with Steven Crowder. I'm sorry, man. I wouldn't pull in the I'm afraid to go to white man. I mean, dude, you're literally here. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure you got an army outside. I'm sure there's behind this camera, you got an army. I've seen how Steven Crowder rolls. So he's not rolling solo. I got you. But sir, I wouldn't bring that up. I'm not scared to go to church. I go to church with a very mixed population, but the vast majority of them are of the less melanated white people. And I love my brothers and sisters. So don't do that, Steven. I think that's under that one right there. I'm not going to rock with you.
I've heard all this stuff.
Let me tell you what bothers me about white people. Let's be honest here, because I work with a lot of white people, so I have nothing against them at all. Let me be honest with you. But the problem the biggest problem that I have is that you constantly get bombarded with the excuses, all right? When you really come down to it, let's be honest, man, and let's be really truthful with one another. Ask yourself, what do you expect when you look at architectural oppression, economic depravity, and social disparity? What would you call it?
Bad decisions.
Huh?
Bad decisions.
Bad decisions.
Yeah, I think right now in 2025, it's bad decisions. I think everyone can make better
And you
decisions.
know what? I'll even go here with you. In all fairness, I think that's absolutely true. So my question for you is, how do we move past this?
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Like, that's it. I love that Crowder. Look, hey, shout out to, what was that, Bad Decisions. Because them little terms he was coming up with sound foolish. I'd have shot him down too. But yeah, these are bad decisions. So now how do we fix that? Well, how about you look to the brother to your left and the barber behind you and say, how do we fix those? That's what needs to happen, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I agree. And I think maybe we'll find some common ground here. If we agree there is personal accountability and bad decisions, and I think we also all agree that feminist white are the worst demographic in the country, along with lesbians.
There's a great book that says that they were her property.
Believe me, I don't have hold on, let me just clarify, and I mean that. Angry white feminist and lesbians, because if they didn't vote, we wouldn't have half of the shit. But and this is one thing I appreciate about black men, that white men are so black men can talk about these things, and black men are okay being masculine. White men are told it's sexist. There's a lot there. Personal accountability decisions. Now, just take that and apply it. What you kind of just did here is you blamed white people, without realizing it, for systemic discrimination, and that removes autonomy from a white person to be accountable and also rewarded for their good decisions. So if we agree it's bad decisions, personal accountability, we'd all be against reparations, and we'd all be against the criminal justice reform.
I'm definitely for reparations.
See, that to me, you said excuse.
Yeah.
That sounds like an excuse to me.
You ain't paid me back. You ain't paid me for what you owe me. It's not you can't start another bill until you pay this old bill.
What did I take from you?
You didn't take your ancestors.
But you just said you.
When I say you, I meant it as a euphemism.
But can you understand why white people hear it and get pissed off?
Yeah.
Because I can take shit.
But they're not mad about the advantages that were built into their lives.
So you want young people to pay? Sounds like an excuse.
I don't know if I would use the word excuse, though I am against reparations as well. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. I'm against reparations. I probably wouldn't have used the word excuse, but I totally see where he's going. I like what he's doing. I would not call it an excuse. But let him go, Jason. Let him tease it out. Let's go.
Paying us back, Steve. No, my thoughts are on this here. Give us an opportunity to exercise our ability and our autonomy. Let me give you a perfect example. There's a gal right now. Her name is Joy Reid. Look up her.
Oh, I know Joy Reid. She's out of mind.
Look up her educational background. You don't think Harvard gave her a degree just because she was a black person of DEI, do you?
I think she's an idiot.
Okay, so
not because she's black. She's an idiot.
Okay, so you're entitled to that.
I think Dan Jones is smart, and I disagree with him. Joy Reid has said things that are so verifiably untrue. It's insane.
Okay, so but you know, as a man, I'm gonna indulge you and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to indulge you. I'm going to respect your opinion, your frame of thought on that, right? I beg to differ tremendously, but nevertheless, though, that's why we're having this open discussion. But let's really talk about where we need to go from here on, and that is the fact that black people have every sense of entitlement as it relates to having reparations. And I'm gonna tell you why, right?
Why?
Because nobody has ever been as more loyal to white people, despite the treatment, than black people have, right? Nobody. You show me one race. You know what? They make options and opportunities available when other ethnicities come here or what have you that we will never get a chance to have, right? And then they turn around and tell us, stop asking about reparations. Whenever we want to ask for equality and fairness, it's a problem. So white America.
So it spends several $1 trillion. When is it enough?
Wait, spend $7 trillion on what? What did they spend it on?
Let's go back to Lyndon Johnson model.
Lyndon Johnson, you're talking about the wrong property? Is that what we're talking about?
Okay.
1965?
Why was that done?
All right, but here's the deal.
I probably would not have started there. Again, shout out to Steven Crowder, because he's at least going into the belly of the beast. Shout out to him for at least doing that. But why not just start with where they are? Instead of dealing with several trillion, quadrillion dollars, what about this community? I think Steven Crowder should already have come prepared and said, hey, the median household income in this community, in the 1 mile radius of the customers that come into this barbershop, is XYZ. But there's also ABC liquor stores. There's this many hair salons. There's this many whatever. There's no banks. Why are y'all not riding for banks? Why are y'all not riding for investment vehicles to save money? Why are y'all not doing that? That's what I probably would have done and just came. He already knows what's going to happen. He knows what's going to happen. He's not. Steven Crowder looks like he's dialed in. He's tapped in on what he's talking about. So he shouldn't be surprised about this conversation.
Department of Education.
So now you're saying the Department of Education. Let's go back to the Department of Education.
Okay, so my point is, hold on, no, I didn't answer your question.
All right.
The reason that this was given, right, when you're talking about the Great Society program, the reason when you look at the Model Cities program, urban planning, $8 billion in Detroit, adjusted for inflation, the reason that, and I don't know if you know this, black students in this country get more spending per pupil than white students. I don't know if you know that. That's an actual fact. Even in impoverished neighborhoods through public funding, these were the reparations that were asked of white people throughout each decade given, and then we're told, no, that's not the real one. They were given, whether you like them or not, whether you think they work or not. By the way, I think they're dog shit. I think we should completely suspend the federal Department of Education. I think the Texas state could do a much better job. But those were done in the name of racial reparations because they were demanded, and now it's not enough.
You say that, Steve. Listen,
was that?
Say we should suspend the Department.
I agree with you. Because so why would they do it?
It's not just because it was done in the name of racial justice that it was done incorrectly.
That's the reason for it.
I'm saying that's the reason for it. But along the way of trying to achieve racial justice, you just did it wrong.
But let me ask you.
Wait.
People did it the way we were asked.
It was right. Your approach was wrong.
So now you make some 20-year-old kid pay?
No, but you came out and said something. You said that you're against the Department of Education, right? Let me tell you
Federal
something.
Department.
Yeah, Federal Department of Education. Let me tell you something that has come up in a lot of circles.
Okay, I'm against, as a former school teacher, many of you may or may not know, I'm a former public school teacher, retired school teacher. I'm against the Federal Department of Education. I think that the state of Georgia could do a way better job of handling the tax dollars that go into education here inside the state of Georgia than the federal government up in DC. I believe that I'm just on faith, I believe that the Illinois Department of Education will do a better job. New York, Texas, fill in the blank. So no, I am against the federal Department of Education because I know how schools waste money. I know it. And let me tell you, they waste a lot of money because nobody thinks about it. They think about kids and they just start throwing money. Like insert that Leonardo DiCaprio video where he's just throwing money. They just see kids and they just throw cash at it. And it's not well used. It's not well funded. It's not well managed. It's definitely not well accounted for. So no, I'm against it. So I'm with him on that. But I think Crowder should say, I'm against the federal Department of Education because I'm for the Indiana Department of Education handling the money rather. Or I'm for Florida, I'm for Georgia or Tennessee or whatever, fill in the blank place. Not just saying I'm against the Department of Education. Because then people just think you don't want education. They hear it wrong when you say that. Okay, let's go.
That I'm always talking about as a person with a disability. The Department of Education does a lot more in terms of, even with the enforcement of Section 504, right? 504 says that you must have accommodations for individuals with disabilities, right? Perfect example of when you walked in or someone just walked in, did you hear what that thing said? Right, left. Go down to Austin. Let me tell you something. When you suspend the Department of Education, you're also telling the remain 36 million people in this country who have disabilities, you know what? Screw you, figure it out. We don't have to do anything, okay? And this is another reason, going back to what we said with the Black America. If you don't have certain mechanisms in place to ensure that there is a fair and level playing field, right? Guess what? The controlling party that's in power or what have you are not going to say, hey, wait a minute, let's look at this other disenfranchised segment of the community or what have you and see how can we provide.
I'll disabuse you of that notion. Okay, let me just
real quick. If you ever are trying to make a case for your ethnic group, please don't use people who are born with disabilities as your buttress for your argument. Are you trying to say, sir, that we're disabled? Are you trying to say that black people are disabled? Then don't use your blindness as your springboard into your conversation. Stick with that because the state of Indiana would still take care of the people with disabilities. You don't need the federal government to do that. That's what people like me that are against the federal Department of Education believe, because you can't tell me that they're doing a better job than you can't tell me that even your state, you can't even tell me that your state is better at managing your household budget than you are. I just don't believe that. I don't believe your city is better at it. You know what? I'm going to go on a limb. Your HOA is not better at managing your lawn than you are. See what I'm saying? Like, get it to the people that are most invested in it. The federal government is not invested in your child or your own disability. They're not. Okay, let's get done, Jason. This is good. Thank you so much for this. All right, here we go.
Disabuse you of that notion. Go ahead. Over $3 trillion adjusted for inflation, right? The Department of Education, early 70s. Okay, before that, they were run by states. Over $3 trillion. What are math scores? What are literacy scores now? In both
depends on what part of the country you're asking that about.
Across the board. Across the board.
You can't go there because I'm gonna tell you why you can't go there.
Hold on. I'll answer the question. Because then I'll show you an example of something that actually works. Because we need solutions.
I'm going to jump in real quick. I guarantee you that blind man is going to say that math scores are skewed or the scores can't be trusted. I'm guaranteeing you that's what he's going to say. Okay? I'm pretty certain. I haven't watched it. I guarantee you he's going to say you can't trust math scores because standardized tests are racist or the scores are skewed. Okay.
Across the board down. In other words, $3 trillion test scores are worse. And they're even worse in poor areas where there's more spending. You know where black students in New York City actually do really well? White Catholic schools, where they have more students per teacher, on average 35 plus. In other words, they have fewer teachers. It's done privately. Charter schools, school choice is something I support. That means for everyone in this country. Can't do it because it's racist.
Let's look at the academia, though. Okay,
that's why it's being taught.
When you start talking about that, what have you? When you talk about test scores, we can go just north versus south, or what have you. Let's look at the quality of education that's in these schools, or what have you. Are you going to tell me that it's a standardized academic agenda that's promoted throughout this country, or is it the fact that some people have a different education level than black? Listen, I work with people.
They're bad across the board.
I work with people every day that are out the north that have far.
That don't even make sense what he said. How did he insert north versus south? That's what I'm saying. Like, I like Crowder. I like this. I give this 4.5 bow ties for sure. I would only change it and I would make them deal with their own communities right here. So again, if Crowder knows he's going to talk about schools, I would know all of the information about this school district that feeds into this barbershop. I would be dogmatic about it. He seemed like a researcher. He does not seem like he's a slouch. I would be ready to talk about the crime statistics, the financial economic status, as well as the education in this 1 mile, 3 mile radius of this barbershop. I would be ready to talk about it and bring the noise.
That's absolutely true. Then we have this
There's no good. Right. There's no good. There's shit in here. And what I'm saying is, here's something where we could find common. I propose this, many people have. We go, look, instead of giving money to a school, like you say, some of these schools suck, right? Instead of just putting, let's say the average spending is $15,000 per student. That's a rounded number. It's anywhere from 13 to 50, okay? If instead of putting that money in the administrative costs at a school, what you do is you say, okay, that's a grant. That's a voucher that attaches to the student, and they can take it to any school they want, so they have to compete. So that kid can now choose where they go to school. Can't do it because it's racist. That's why it's been fought. People say black kids would still be stuck in shit schools than white kids. Why?
Well, see, that comes
because they wouldn't be able to transport themselves out of a bad neighborhood. But right now they're stuck with one school.
So when you start asking those whys and go down the rabbit hole of why and start asking, okay, well, why would somebody say that? Well, this is why.
Well, I'll tell you why they really say it. And then teachers unions.
Because the teachers unions?
Yeah.
It doesn't make. In other words,
but I get the black kid right now has to go to because in certain communities where they don't have certain resources, it's a lot of kids. Once again,
they're saying you can leave those schools. You don't have to stay there. They're saying that you can leave the school that doesn't serve your needs and go to a school that does serve your needs. Please understand, all we're saying in the school choice situation is that we want schools to compete. Just like Ford, Chevy, GM, Mercedes-Benz, Mazda, they compete for your dollars. iPhone, Samsung, they compete for your dollars. Everything else competes. And if iPhone doesn't come out with a really great phone this year, are you going to go buy the same phone next year, the 18 or whatever they're on now? No. If Samsung doesn't bring the noise the next year, I'm not going to be running to go buy the Samsung S26. It's just not going to happen. They've let me down. And they're giving you that exact same option in education. You can take your dollars and go somewhere with it. And you represent dollars now in real time versus the school just gets money whether you got 100 kids or if you have 300 kids. They're going to still keep their lights on. Okay. I've talked about school choice here before. So shout out.
I raised my kids, graduated 3 kids from I've been afforded some things in this community that some people down south don't have.
Yeah,
right.
That's a fact.
And some of these school events, I'm questioning them like, how the hell y'all expect us to have jobs and still transport these kids to and from these events all throughout the day? But if them people down there had to do it,
so you think what we're doing now is bad?
Hey man, you better leave us Southerners alone, boy. Hold on now, brother. Hold on now, young blood. Don't get me all up in a tizzy. He better be talking about South Indiana. Don't be talking about us. You don't know about us. Look.
Boy, if you don't get...
Boy, you better leave us alone. We ain't bothering you. Leave us Southerners alone. You keep that stuff up there above the Mason-Dixie line.
Because they ain't got transport. Half of them ain't got transport.
I think we need to go back to the real truth and the real truth.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because they're in impoverished areas, and we already know based on how we see.
So then how do we fix it? We have to pay for
areas
a car,
don't even have grocery stores.
No, of course not.
Those same areas
that's
don't.
horseshit. I see everyone here has a smartphone. You can literally order any food that's ever existed on Earth to any municipality cheaper than ever.
If you're in an area that already has a lack of resources and you're already low income, how you gonna order something?
Amazon.
Yeah, you can't. You are not going to be able to beat those charges. The food desert argument is silly now. With the what's that, Instacart and all that kind of stuff. Sir, please go ahead. Please go have a seat. You cannot make the food desert argument anymore. You just can't do it. Every grocery store delivers now. They have their own delivery service. And you can, Instacart and Postmates, Amazon, there's no reason for you not to be able to order food. Stop it. Just stop it.
But see, here's the deal.
We're talking about food desert in 2025. Come on.
I think it's a broader problem that we were not discussing. You know what that is? You got to go all the way back. This has been an insidious process that's been at work. And the bad part about it is, as long as we as white and black America keep fighting among each other, we'll never see the big picture. You go back to 1982 under Charlotte T. Smith, who was the Department of Secretary under Ronald Reagan, Department of Education. She wrote a good expose many years later called The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. She kind of patterned that after that B.F. Skinnerian behavioral modification. And it ties all into the founder before the Department of Education, which was General Education Board, where they said, you know what, we don't need more painter, we don't need more artists, or we don't need more poets. We just want good cogs in a wheel that are easily taught that we can mold under our own hand. That mantra still holds true today. So you got to look at that. You got to look at where we come from. We come from a nation that was industrious and coupled with innovation. To now, everybody tends to do things like you say with your smartphone. You know why? Because pictures keep you from looking at things contextually. All right. So when you think about this educational system, you got to go back to what changed in this educational system and why we're where we are. Because you can't just simply say, yeah, but you can't just simply say that everybody wants to be dumb, or everybody in the South.
I didn't say everybody wants to be dumb.
Okay, well, tell you this too. Here's another problem why scores are so much lower in this country, especially when you talk about black.
Because money doesn't fix a problem. It's that simple. We throw money at the problem and it doesn't do shit.
Solve the problem at the core root of it and start reforming the real academia, all right? That's where you solve the. So you know what you tell people? We're going to operate in a system of meritocracy. God damn it, you will eat what you kill. If you're giving you $50,000 to go to school and you decide that you don't want.
Hold it. I gotta go. Did you hear what that man just said? We're going to operate in a system of meritocracy. But y'all do remember 20 minutes ago, he was arguing for DIE. You do remember that, right? He was the one arguing for DIE, but now he wants people to be meritorious. Y'all, you cannot make this stuff up.
Or you fail to adhere to what's being presented before you, then shame on you.
I agree. You do away with DEI, you do away with the sex affirmative action, you do away with all, but eat what you kill.
Do away with DEI, but make it fair across the board.
But that's what I'm saying.
I agree.
Why is it not fair now?
If you do away with DEI, you got to make sure that the merits are properly being counted. Because the reason why DEI was invented, reason why affirmative action was invented, is because you'd have two qualified candidates, same qualifications, but one would get in strictly because his name was Johnny and the other one's name was Jamal. Well, we're going to take Johnny. Because naturally, Johnny's going to be better at it, but they got the same qualifications.
How do you know that that's why he didn't get it, though? See, critical race theory, Black Lives Matter, social justice gives you a superpower that most people don't have, which is you are now able to read the minds of other people. So you know what that person is thinking, and you know why they made a decision. No, you can't do it. Like, come on. That doesn't make sense because it doesn't work anywhere else. Because if following that same logic of DIE, why when I go to Popeye's Chicken down the street around the corner from my house, which, by the way, I will never go to, but if I go there, why are all the employees black? Are they not required to hire white people? Because they wanted people that would work. They wanted people that want to work there. See, so there is a reason outside of it just being qualified and then being colored. That's all. I'm done.
Affirmative action was instituted in the first place.
DEI came in because shrinking white feminists wanted to claim credit.
That's a snapshot you can present it in, but
I agree with you.
That's a snapshot you can present it in, but I'm just saying, like, the reason why.
No, what I'm saying is,
you go down and ask why.
I'm being flippant, but the truth is, black people were being admitted in record numbers if they had the same qualifications before DEI and affirmative action. White shrieking feminists wanted to take credit for something that was already happening because people had become less racist, so they can say, tag my white name on there, DEI. See what I did for black people? It's white guilt. And what I'm trying to tell you is, young people who have nothing to do with any of this, their guilt is running out, and you can't escape the violent murder rate. You can't escape them losing opportunities and being blamed for being racist when they're not. And you want those kids to pay reparations? You're creating a generation of racists. That's what's going to happen.
And then you can have a. Then you go ahead.
We as a black community, we're not creating a generation of racists. You know who's creating that generation of racists? Those older white people are feeding that into their kids. See, all white people are not racist. I don't believe that.
No, of course not.
But we as black people are racist. We are very partial. We are extremely partial. And we need to deal with that on our end. We've raised an entire generation. Just go to TikTok. And we are extremely partial for no reason whatsoever. So somebody is going to have to say, we're going to stop. We're going to stop with this. And we're going to quit it. So either A is going to be the white people, B is going to be the black people. Somebody's going to have to stop and say, you know what? Let's stop. Let's stop this. Let's quit. And stop teaching our children and other generations and platforming behavior that supports it. I'm just saying.
But the ones that come from families that have that inherent gene or trait in them, they're passing that on.
How?
See, I'm looking at this, the gentleman that got killed, Charlie. He was killed by a white man, a young white man, right? From the generation that you're talking about that's getting fed up.
Well, he was also banging
his dad had one ideology. He followed another ideology. That's out the same household. He didn't come from nowhere black. He wasn't hanging around with no bunch of black people.
I agree. I'm not saying
that mindset. His daddy put whatever was into him. His dad either put that into him or his rebellion from his father caused him to think like that. That we're not creating that. Black people.
That has nothing to do with them. I agree with you.
It's called sin. I know. Look, I know. My name is Jason, and I give social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. That's sin, and Tyler Robinson is responsible for his sin. I'm not putting on his daddy or his mama. That boy did that. That's on him. Whatever they did to get him to the place where he pulled that trigger, that's on them. He pulled the trigger. That's on him. And we have to stop trying to find a way to finesse ourselves out of accountability. We got to stop it. We are doing the Heisman Trophy pose to get out of accountability. No, man, we've been teaching our kids reckless, man. That's it. End of the day, stop the discussion. We're reckless. We over teaching our kids some random foolishness.
You ever seen over in Africa, you see an elephant with a bird riding on his back. That elephant ain't worried about that bird because that bird not stopping him from doing the thing he want to do. We're the bird.
No.
We're the bird. We're not stopping white America from doing anything.
You know what? The bird just burned down $4 billion worth of cities and 60,000 assaults.
No.
And what young white kids? No, hold on.
The bird might get blamed for it.
Right. The bird is half as big as the elephant.
You act like it's only blacks that was burning it down. What about Black Wall Street?
You know what I said earlier, and you listen when you have a young white person going, okay, why is this happening? And people go, Black Lives Matter. And they go, well, hold on a second. I have an opinion on Black Lives Matter. They go, well, sit down, shut up. Okay, now silence is violence. And that kid goes, well, what do I do? By the way, you're on the hook for reparations, even though his father, his grandfather, his great-great-grandfather didn't own a slave, and he's still 12 times more likely to be killed by a black person the other way around. What I'm saying is society is going to create a generation of racists. What do you say to that young white kid? What do you say to him?
Stop watching, stay off of TikTok.
Stop reading stats.
Stop paying attention to what these talking heads are saying because they're leading you down the wrong path. They're leading you down the path of paranoia and conspiracy theories.
What if their interactions with black people in general are quite negative?
All right. Shout out to Steven Crowder.
Well, we're in it now, and we're going to continue next Thursday, October 16th, on the next installment of Black and White on the Gray Issues.
Do you realize that you could take all the white people in this country, and if you're going to add up everyone where you could actually trace the lineage to slave owners or had any involvement, you would end up with maybe 2 or 3%? You shouldn't be getting any of it. That's why Charlie Kirk shouldn't be shot.
So my question is,
well, how is this relevant? So here's something that's important, right? Because Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Let's be clear about this, and we're both agreeing because people believed a lie.
Somebody got to get them sweet potatoes out the ground. Somebody got to do that. White people not going to do that.
Of course we will.
Once again, when the work got hard, that's when they went and got slaves.
Yeah, white people don't know hard work. Can I ask you something real talk? While we're having real talk, why do young black men fight in packs?
All right. Shout out. That's a very interesting shout out. Whoever told me to watch that. I'm glad I listened to the audience. All right. It was dope. So if anybody's asking, I'm giving it 4.5 bow ties. It was outstanding. I think, again, I probably would have been more specific to this particular neighborhood, not just a generalization. Because to me, I think a lot of generalizations, you can shake off a general tackle, right? But if they're coming right at you and they got your number, it's going to be much harder to shake off that tackle. And I think if Crowder had come in there with the numbers and the facts and the data for this particular neighborhood, I really think it would have been more impactful. That's just me. And that's probably what I would have done. If I know I'm going here, this is what I'm going to do. But the rest of it was great. I'm glad they had a good conversation. I think it was super amicable. I guess we're going to have to do this again. I guess we'll be back next Thursday. Now I know what we're doing Thursday. Let me check my calendar. Taking my wife to the airport. Well, I guess we'll be doing this again next Thursday. I got a deacon meeting in the afternoon. I got time. Yeah. We'll do this again next Thursday for sure. But this was super dope, man. Thank you again, whoever told me about this. And I don't remember who it was. So y'all just charge it to my head, not to my heart. Okay. But no, that was good. I'm glad I watched that. And like I said, I've only seen a few of Steven Crowder's projects, but this one, I'm glad I watched it. This was worth it. And looks like you all were having some good conversation in the chat as well. So I guess we'll be back next Thursday to keep it going. Shout out. And see if we can stir up some more conversation though. But y'all, thank you so much. I do want to say thank you to the very kind supers. Shout out to our stream sponsor, Granny Rose up in that for sure. What we got here? Fernando with the $2. He says it's shalom from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Shout out, brother. Thank you so much, man. We international up in here. We international. I need my passport to join the best live chat. You're awesome. And I know. I like how you did that. Shout out to Ween. Thank you very much. And Hillbilly Belinda says this. So the white people that died to free the slaves need their descendants to pay reparations. See, people don't want to have that discussion because a lot of people, I personally think we should stop trying to get historical for making claims about what we're doing in the current, especially something historical that we were not a part of, because that water gets real murky when you try to say, well, hey, Christianity supports slavery. Well, who were the people that died to free you as a slave, or your ancestors a slave, or our ancestors a slave? They were Christian. They weren't Muslim. They weren't Buddhist. I don't care what Joe Biden said. That's not what they were. They were Christians. So you're going to have to catch that one. Same thing with reparations. Same thing. Who died? Yeah, that was white men. So we might need to not do that. We should stay right here, because when we get historical, sometimes we get caught up, and I don't think that's what we need. So shout out for sure. Thank you very much for that. Belinda, I appreciate you with the $5 super. And again, Amethyst Angel, good to see you, sister. She said, I'm a proud 62-year-old perpetual student of the YT University. Less than $200 a year. Thank you so much, Amethyst Angel. We appreciate you for hanging out with us today. And thank you for the very kind super as well. I'm getting ready to go so I can go pick up Chief Executive Second Born, because I got to come back here at 6:00 because I have a live stream. We're going to be talking about, I think Candace is supposed to be doing her show explaining why she's taking a 10-day vacation or sabbatical, whatever. But I do have some great videos planned as well. We got Joe Pags. I got Charlie Kirk interview. I got Candace in another interview. So we got a lot going on tonight. We got to plan a stacked night. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much. Please, if you did not hit the like button, did I earn it? Did I earn the like button? If I did, go ahead and touch it. If not, either way, green hearts in the chat on your way out the door. Make sure you tip your waiter. And until next time, everybody, I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace. Well, hold on. I got to change my outro. I deleted it earlier, so I got to put it back in. So y'all get another 2 seconds. All right, now we got it. All right, until next time, everybody. Grace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Whip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.